have some exciting news around here. Our most popular class, Building Wealth by Doing Nothing, Investing 101, and her shiny new sister, Investing 201, both taught by friend of TFD and investing expert Amanda Holden, are now available for purchase. These classes have been taken by almost 10,000 of you. And many of you enjoy learning in a live virtual classroom setting, but a lot of you have also let us know that you prefer to do things on your own schedule. So ask and ye shall receive. These classes are the recorded versions of Amanda's live investing course. Each course is available for $125 and includes access to the full course designed to be taken over 4 weeks or at whatever pace feels best for you, the course syllabus, corresponding homework to go with each lesson, presentation slides that go along with each class, access to pre-recorded office hours where Amanda answers students' investing questions, and additional resources from Amanda to help you along your wealth building journey. If you've been wanting to learn how to invest and build wealth, these are the classes you need in your life. Amanda's an incredible teacher and a personal friend of mine, and she makes learning this hard stuff actually fun and entertaining. We definitely recommend taking the 101 level class first, but both are available for purchase at the links in our description.
Hello, my name is Andrew McLaughlin. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I am a associate general manager or a general manager associate, depending on who you ask, for a company in New York City that does theatrical management of mostly Broadway productions as well as tours. And I make $50,000 a year.
I'm Ava, I'm 25, I'm from Buffalo, New York. I work in publishing as a content manager, academic publishing, and I make $51,000 a year.
How do you know each other? How did you meet?
Well, we're both from Buffalo. When I was living in Albany, my mom was working at a box office in a theater at Buffalo, and Andrew was also working there.
Yeah, and so I was talking with my friend one day who worked there, Ava's mother, and I told her that I was thinking about moving to New York City, and she said, well, my daughter might want to as well. You guys should move together, and over the course of the next year, it just kind of happened.
Yeah, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're roommates. What is your rent? Is it average, low, or high for your area?
I guess I would say it's average. We pay $2,100 between the both of us, and then we pay electric on top of that.
Yeah, but it seems it maybe seems average. When
Yeah.
I was looking at places, it seemed about average for about the size that we have, the place that we have. Yeah.
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 Do you have any debt?
I have a couple $100 in credit card debt, but that's it.
Okay.
I don't have student loans. I was lucky enough where I got a lot of financial aid, so I did not have to pay any student loans. So only a couple $100 of credit card debt, which is I plan on paying off soon.
Yeah. I'm the opposite. I am like a credit card samurai, but I have school loans, like $40,000 from undergrad. And then I'm doing my MFA right now. And I have like $5,000 that I owe a family member. So like 45 between those.
How do you share expenses?
That's a great question. I mean, utilities, I pay the internet, and then you pay the electric bill.
And
then if we need to settle up, if it's way different, then we will.
Yeah.
We split the rent in half.
Stuff like toilet paper, stuff like that. We usually just switch on and off of whoever's buying that stuff. We don't share groceries. So,
Right.
we share food sometimes, but we don't split groceries or anything. Right. We do our individual shopping, so we don't split anything like that. So mostly, I would say 50-50, trying to be without penny pinching. Right. Where, we're not we're not doing anything like that, but where we split as 50-50 is, I think we have the capability of our minds to think about splitting 50-50. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any savings/investments? What is your best savings strategy?
I do have some savings. I contribute to a 401k with every paycheck that my employer matches. So I have, I think, a few thousand in my 401k from the past couple of years of being a young professional. I have personal savings as well, but they aren't, especially after moving recently, they aren't quite up to where I really want them to be. So that's currently what I'm working on is my personal short-term savings a little bit more, getting it back up to a level where it's more comfortable, like the few months of rent and stuff like that, of living expenses and stuff like that. And my best saving strategy, I have a budget. I have a budget spreadsheet that I log everything that I spend in, and I keep it. I have like a daily amount outside of like bills and stuff like that I'm allowed to pay, and that includes a little bit of that includes I have to put it into my savings account. It's not a very like. It's like very like particular, and like I think if someone else took a look at it, they would not understand, and they'd think it could be a lot more organized. But other than my 401k, which is taken out, and I have an HSA too. I forgot about that. A health savings account that I also get taken out of my paycheck. But other than that, taking it out ahead of time never works for me. For whatever reason, I just can't have a hard time saving that way. So
for sure,
a little bit. Every day I save. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I have a savings account for the old job that I was at that's got about $3,000. It's a retirement account. And then I have a personal Roth IRA that I started that has a few $1,000s in it as well. My personal savings, just like in the bank, is really low right now. It's mostly been going to school, which I'm thankfully done with this last semester. And then also moving to New York City. So like you said, just looking to build that back up. My best saving strategy is a daily limit of spending that I have based off of my salary. And then I kind of, if I have like a big purchase, then I need to like allocate that money throughout the month. So then the amount goes down for every day.
Yeah.
So.
What has been your best financial decision?
Oh, wow. My best financial decision. Probably being so smart with credit cards. And my parents, I didn't want to get a credit card. My parents were like, you should get a credit card when you're younger, but you have to make sure you use it really smartly. And they've always taught us to be very thrifty and like kind of scared that into us from a young age. Yeah. So I'm definitely glad that I got one when I was younger and have like used it smartly and like built up my credit score. And that's probably the smartest like long-term decision I think I've made.
Yeah, I think that's not what I was going to say, but just to go off that, because I think similarly, like I didn't get a credit card until after I left school, and I was making money, and like I know that if I had gotten one when I was like 19 in college, I would have just been like, oh, all my friends would be like, oh, we're going out or we're getting food or whatever, and then I'd be like, swipe, swipe, swipe. So I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad I didn't trust myself, because I was right to not trust myself when I was that age getting a credit card.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a dangerous decision. Yeah. You know, like I feel like I had that self-control, which isn't like, it's just something I had naturally, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it worked out.
Yeah. I think my best financial decision was going to a state school where I wouldn't have to take out any loans. I was lucky. So I had a little bit of a college fund set up for me when my dad passed away from his coworkers, which also put us in a financial situation where I was able to get a lot of financial aid because of the aftermath of my dad passing away. So I was very lucky to not have to take out any loans. And there were a bunch of private schools that when I was 18, I really wanted to go to. And I was like, oh, but maybe I can just make it work. And luckily, I didn't end up doing that. And I ended up going to a state school. And I feel so, so lucky that I don't have a bunch of loans to pay off now, because it really gives me, I think, a lot of financial freedom in order to do stuff, to make decisions of like where I want to live or you know, savings or something like that, where I don't have to worry about an extra couple $100 a month on loans, especially like if I want to go to grad school sometime, then I'm like, well, then I can just take out like a little bit of loans if I need to. And I don't have to top it on top of a bunch of undergrad loans. So yeah, I think that's probably my best financial decision.
What is currently your biggest financial burden?
Yeah. I think probably not having the amount of savings that I want to have. At least that's like the one I think about the most, is wishing that my savings account was back up to where I want it to be. Because it just makes me, I mean, my job is pretty secure. I get told, like, people, like, I'm not really at risk for that, but also I feel like there's something always in the back of my mind being like, you could get laid off tomorrow and you'll have no money. And so I think that's probably the one that I'm worried about the most. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like especially with all these layoffs happening with everyone, again, it's not in my industry. It really has nothing to do with me.
Right.
But still, you know, there's still that risk of, Or two, you know, like then it makes, when I want to spend on something else, I'm like, well, really what I could be doing is saving this money instead of. So I would like to be able to feel a little bit more secure spending money, which I think I need to save money first in order to be able to do that.
Sure. Yeah, I totally feel that. I think for me, it's similar. Like, I think right now it's like my personal savings. When I graduate, though, I think soon it's going to be my student loans for my undergrad that are going to be coming due monthly because I'll be out of school. So I think that'll be my newly biggest financial burden once those start to hit.
What has been the most surprising part of adulthood?
I think just like being, especially like moving to New York, I guess, and just being like thrusted into the like, okay, do you? And just having to like do your little budgeting techniques or like just kind of make it happen and use the skills and knowledge that you have built over our short lives and put it into practice, I guess. And also like learn on the fly, you know, like, oh, this works, this doesn't. And attempt to try to build the life that you want. Yeah. I think that probably, especially when you're done with school and you're just kind of like, oh, that was only like 22 years. Right. And now I have all this other, like now I have like another, hopefully a couple more 22 years to a few times over to, you have to like figure it out yourself and do it and like set yourself up for success early so that you can reap the benefits later, but also, you know, enjoy your life. And yeah, like the balance of that has definitely been like the weird. It's maybe something that I didn't think about. Also, I can't believe how expensive rugs are. That to me was shocking when I figured out how expensive rugs are. I don't know why. That's like the first thing when I read that, I was like, why are rugs so expensive? Or like really just anything, like laundry detergent, groceries now. I know like we're all talking about eggs. Eggs are so expensive. I just can't believe like things just get so, and then you're just expected to pay it. It's funny to like think like as a kid when you're like to your parents like, I want to buy this, and then they're like, no, now you're like buying stuff for yourself and you're like, oh.
I'm like, oh, I don't need that.
That was like real money.
Yeah.
That they maybe didn't have.
Yeah. Have you encountered any financial issues as roommates?
I don't think so.
The one thing I can think of is how expensive the electric bill is
in
over the summer. Oh my gosh, that is maybe the one thing I can think of.
Yeah, we both don't like being hot, so air conditioning is definitely our friend.
Love air conditioning. We both run warm. Yeah.
I think the other thing too is like in the very beginning was when we were moving and needed like first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, and then like
we're buying all this stuff and furniture, and then also Con Ed is like, can we have $400? And we're like, this is 350 square feet. I don't know why you would want all that.
What's the best thing about living in New York, and what's the worst thing?
The best thing is that how much there is to do all the time. And like not even like paying for stuff, like free stuff. What is it? Why can't I think of what it's called? The Culture Pass. I love my little Culture Pass. Going around library Culture Pass, going around and doing free stuff that you can get through the library, like to museums and stuff like that. The worst part is, I mean, the same. It's expensive.
Yep.
What about you?
Best thing, same thing. We went to get our library card. That was one of the first things we did together to get our Culture Pass. So, and we've definitely used it. I mean, I guess overall, just like rent is expensive. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty lucky with where we're at, but I think just like the prospect of just like the future and just like, you know, if we're going to move or like where we're going to live, like it's just an expensive process, you know?
Yeah.
So
even moving is like super expensive as compared to like other cities where I've lived where it's like some guy and you're like, and he's like, okay, can I have a security deposit, which is like a couple $100, like, you know, the rent, which is a lot cheaper than here, as opposed to here, which applying to a place is the biggest crazy.
It's literally like pain. America's Most Amazing Race.
Yeah, literally. That is how it felt. Yeah.
Cool.
What was your financial upbringing like? How was money talked about growing up?
Yeah, so kind of like I said earlier, super thrifty. Like our parents were, like when we went to the zoo, we did not go to the gift shop. That wasn't even an option. When we went to the circus or something, we like no snacks. Like that wasn't a thing we could do.
Were people going to the gift shop at the zoo?
Oh yeah.
Really?
There, like it's like a whole exit through the.
Well, yes,
to, like,
yes.
We
I do
couldn't
know
go
about
through
the
that
existence.
exit. We had to go through the spinny door exit. We could not go through the gift shop. So like that, like I don't want to say frivolous, but just like extra spending wasn't something that we got used to, or like going out to eat. Like if we went out to eat once a month, that was a lot.
Yeah. Like I knew the gift shop existed. I didn't know that people were like buying stuff from it.
Oh right.
You know? I was like, we
mysterious.
look. Yeah, exactly. Maybe those like buckets of rocks. I'd like maybe buy a rock. Even then, my mom would be like, "That's stupid." Like pick up a rock off the ground. So like I said, my dad passed away, and that changed when I was a kid. So that changed our financial situation a lot in like the later years of in like the last half of my childhood. But we didn't really like talk. I didn't really have any idea of what our financial situation was, or like how much money my mom was making to support us. We weren't like taking crazy vacations all the time, but I never really thought about it because I never really felt like we were really missing out on anything growing up. Yeah, so we didn't really talk about money, and I think at all. And I think that was definitely like a culture shock when I got older and I kind of realized what our financial situation was. And I was meeting a lot of other people who had come from really wealthy backgrounds and had a lot of money and had a lot of extra spending money. And I didn't really realize that we didn't really have that until I got older. And yeah, I think then you just kind of figure it out from there. Even now, we don't really talk about money all that much.
What has been your biggest financial mistake?
I think college. Mine, I think I didn't take advantage. I didn't really understand financial, like how financial aid, the office and stuff worked. I didn't really know how to get it. So early in college, I think that there was probably, I don't know for sure, but I think there's probably a lot of financial aid dollars that I could have reaped the benefits of and did not. And my two younger brothers have both been, and they're younger than me, went to college, whatever. And I was like, please take advantage of that because there's definitely some money I could have been getting. So that's probably mine. Yeah.
Okay, my worst financial mistake. Probably going to a private undergrad. Yeah. Just like I said, I don't have a ton of loans, but the loans that I have would have been cheaper if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
So, what's the biggest financial secret of your industry?
So I work in academic publishing, so like textbooks, and people always ask me, why are the textbooks so expensive? And I want to say I am not reaping the benefits of the textbooks being so expensive. There's a lot of people I don't know why they're so expensive.
So biggest financial secret of theater is that it is so expensive. People don't understand. There are so many unions, especially on Broadway, if we're talking Broadway specifically. Like the capitalization for like a new musical on Broadway these days is like $20 million easy. And it's just so expensive. And that's why ticket prices are expensive, and it's just kind of a whole endless spiral of circles that could be a whole separate podcast or video. But yeah, it's really, really expensive.
In what ways is your job different than you expected?
I think the current job that I have, which I started just before Thanksgiving, is more financial than I had expected it to be. I'm running like the entities of some closed Broadway shows and kind of like paying bills, and it's just more financial than I had expected it to be, which has been a great learning experience.
Yeah. I think mine is probably that how much people how much it is just like human beings working on a project and putting it together, and it just so happens to be the books that you have on your shelf or whatever. So like people make mistakes, stuff happens. Really, it is just like a team of people trying to accomplish a goal. Which I guess I had never really thought about. You look at stuff and it just seems so precise and like perfect that you don't really think about all the different components of just human beings working on a team together. How did you find your job?
The current job that I have, so I was company managing a show off Broadway when I first moved here over the summer, and then that show closed. And the office that I was working at that had this particular show open, there was somebody who worked in the office who knew of a job opening at a different general management office. And so they kind of sent me the description. I interviewed for the job and got it. So just knowing people, that's like half the thing, or more than it, more than half.
Exactly, yeah. I also got my job because when I was graduating school, so my degree was in English, and I knew someone and I was interested in publishing, and I knew someone who worked at this company, a different part of this company. And they were looking for a temp assistant, and I applied, and I got it out of school. And then it's 3 years later, I have moved to various different positions in this company, and now I'm in a whole different part of it. But I know people, and that's a thing that's nice if you know people, but hard if you don't know people. It's so much of getting a job.
For sure. My last question. If one of you couldn't make rent for whatever reason, how would you handle it?
I don't know.
I'll jump in and say one of the first things that we said together before we moved in is if anything's getting paid, it's the rent.
Yeah. I'll go hungry before I don't pay
Literally.
my rent. Yeah.
And I think we're both in that way. Yeah, I mean, I think my short answer is we would make it work. I know we would.
Yeah, I think we both trust, like, if something were to happen where Andrew lost his job and I needed to cover a little bit more, or we needed to ask a family member for help if we really needed to, I think we both trust each other enough that the other isn't taking advantage of the other. Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was fun, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to work.
I'm also going to go to work, but I'll see you tonight. Yeah, okay, cool.